Yeah, we don't want to do anything to scare your children. That's the last thing we want to do.
A letter from Abigail Adams to her husband, March 31st, 1776. I long to hear that you have declared an independency. And, by the way, in the new code of laws, which I suppose it will be necessary for you to make, I desire that you would remember the ladies and be more generous and favorable to them than your ancestors. Do not put such unlimited power into the hands of the husbands. Remember, all men would be tyrants if they could. If particular care and attention is not paid to the ladies, we are determined to foment a rebellion, and will not hold ourselves bound by any laws in which we have no voice or representation.
When will we get it through our heads that this means nothing to us? When will these people, my people, stop speaking about America's pride and their power? No, she was speaking about was this lady here married to John Adams, Miss Abigail Adams. I'm all for women being treated as equal. That has nothing to do with what I'm thinking. We need to focus on where we come from. Black Hebrews. We need to cut ties with this place, Babylon, Second Egypt, whatever you want to call it. It will be desecrated. We need to be back in Israel. Because we are the people. For 400 years we've been stomped, enslaved, murdered, hung, my goodness, dragged down the street by pickup trucks, tied with chains, whatever your wildest dreams could think of, it has happened to Black Hebrews. We have been robbed for 400 years of everything. Even Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, the color of his skin. We have been robbed by Cleopatra's color. We have been robbed, well, almost robbed by Harriet Tubman's color. When they wanted to put Julia Roberts in the movie to play her. We have been robbed. They put everything in books because they didn't want us to read. We tried to read, they whipped our ass. Kunta Kinte in Roots, they whipped his ass and changed his name. They didn't want to let him know where he came from. They didn't want him to know his heritage. So if Kunta Kinte was the only one that could have told us where we came from, we wouldn't know shit. But yet we're here pledging allegiance, standing up, for a flag that's not ours. We have nothing here in America. Nothing is ours. We need to stand up, research our history. You can only do that with the help of Jesus Christ, Yeshua. The book will lead you the way. Not man.
We get to America and they don't call us Africans. What they called us, Brother Sam? Negroes. And for the longest on our birth certificate, God, before it was black, before it was African American, guess what was on our birth certificates? Negroes. You see? And they called us Negroes because they took us from Negro land. And they said, Lord, unless they find out about Negro land, let's change it. We're going to call them black. And then we're going to call them African American. You know? But as you look close to at the maps in Negro land and Guinea, and you gotta do your research. You gotta get yourself some maps. You gotta go deep into it. Brent, let's flip through. Hey God, we got some maps for you. Hey God, when you get close to Guinea, especially where Ghana was, the old maps used to say what we used to call our land. If you look close at that, you'll see what the people of Negro land and Guinea called this particular region. They called it the kingdom, that K right there, the kingdom of what? Of Judah. All right? That's what we called ourselves. Isn't it ironic that this same kingdom of Judah, that's what we called it, the white folk called it the slave coast. That's where they would get the slaves from. Now, to this day, they'll never put the kingdom of Judah there. They began to change it. You see it under it, wider, and then they put an O-I on it, O-U-I, or Judah. They just didn't want to say Judah. So they was playing word games and word play and moving letters out. Amen. Just so that we wouldn't figure it out. And then they told their people not to tell us how to read. And we'll get to it in a second, but when you look at the slave ship logs, our names were representative, God, of the Hebrews. And I'm going to show you next time as we move down, all the names were Yah this and such Yah and this Yah and all that. And so when you see the movie of Roots, they whipping Toby and they telling Toby, they changing Toby's name. Now why are you changing Toby's name? You're changing Toby's name because you don't want Toby to understand where he come from. Because his name is not African, his name is Hebrew. His name is not Kunta, his name is Jeremiah. Ooh, y'all ain't ready for this. And so they whip him, change his name, tell the slave master, don't teach him how to read. And then they do all this maneuvering on our maps.